Pregnancy. Pregnancy is one of the most exciting times in a woman's life, but it could also be one of the most stressful times as well. Now, with stress, as we know, being in a level of stress through a prolonged amount of time can have some negative implications to our health. So, it makes sense that women will try to find a way to manage their stress in such a crucial time as in their pregnancy. Now, when I say stress, you might be thinking of some external stresses, such as the stress you get from a bad day at work, stress you get from a relationship or family issues. And while I am referring to these stresses, I'm also referring to internal stresses as well. Now, what I mean by internal stress is stress that's going on within your body. Your body's changing, it's stretching, it's doing things it hasn't done before, it's making a human being. If this is your first pregnancy, it's the first time your body's doing this, so there will be some internal stresses going on. So at this point, you're probably thinking, what medication are you trying to sell me here that's going to help me manage my stress through my pregnancy? And while I'm sure there is medication that may help some women deal with their stress through their pregnancy, what I'm talking about today is a way to manage your stress safely, effectively, without medication, which is good because you won't get those side effects that come with a lot of medication. And it's not magic, it's yoga. And I know yoga and pregnancy might be something that doesn't go together, but research shows that it does in fact go together. There's a lot of research on the topic that shows a lot of benefits women can get from doing yoga throughout their pregnancy. One study, which was published on complementary therapies in medicine, took 48 women around 16 weeks of pregnancy and had them do yoga exercises for 60 minutes a day, 3 days a week, from 16 weeks of pregnancy to 36 weeks of pregnancy. And they measured their stress throughout the pregnancy. Now you might be thinking, well, how do you measure stress? Now, like I said before, the internal stresses or external stresses, every time we have these stresses, or we're in a high level of stress, our body releases stress hormones. One of these stress hormones is called cortisol. That is something these researchers can measure to see how stressed these women are. So they took these 48 women and they took saliva samples before and right after they did these yoga exercises. And what they found was that these stress hormones, this cortisol, right after the very first yoga exercise was immediately and drastically dropped. Their cortisol levels dropped. And they saw this throughout the whole experiment. They also had a control group of 46 women that did not participate in the yoga, but they did give saliva samples at the exact same times that the women that did do yoga give the salivary samples. And they showed that the women that did not do the yoga exercise throughout their pregnancy had high levels of cortisol levels throughout their whole pregnancy. So that study there shows that yoga was very effective in managing their stress throughout their pregnancy. There was another study done in the complementary therapies in clinical practice that can be found on PubMed. And in this study, they took 60 women. 30 of those women, they had them do yoga exercises throughout their pregnancy. They started them at 20 weeks of pregnancy. And what they were looking for is to see if there was any way yoga could help them deal with their pain. And how they measured their pain during labor was on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being no pain at all, and 10 being the worst pain they've ever experienced. Now, what they found was the women that did do the yoga therapy or the yoga exercises throughout their pregnancy reported less levels of pain during their end stages of labor. They also found during the study that the women that did the yoga exercises, which was 70 minutes 3 times a week through the pregnancy, they reported less C-sections, less emergency C-sections than the 30 women that did not do the yoga exercises. So that's a way yoga, or it showed that yoga can help with labor pain, and it could also help with delivery outcomes. So if you are looking for a way to manage your stress and you don't want to refer to medicine that might have some side effects that you don't want, or medicine or medication can be very expensive, and you're looking for a way to manage your stress and potentially deal with labor pains and have just an overall better pregnancy potentially, yoga is the way to go. Thank you.